I have this huge world out there in front of me. Before, my idea was so small of what life could be like. I was scared, I was intimidated, I felt like a victim over and over because all that stuff was just going on in my mind. What my life was like before treatment was, it wasn't really much of a life. For several years I had been going to work, coming home, not really living any type of life. I threw myself into work as a nurse. I have a young son. I wasn't able to spend time with him because I had all of this pent up trauma, which I knew was in there. But my way of dealing with it, I had tried alcohol, I had tried hanging out with friends, but eventually I didn't want to be around anybody. I was isolated. Once I found alcohol at high school parties, I realized that that helped ease my anxiety the most. And so I started turning towards the alcohol in moments outside of a party where I was feeling that same anxiety. And the more that I drank, the less I felt the anxiety. And that stemmed from childhood trauma and complex trauma throughout the years. And so as I was growing older and even into nursing school and whatnot, I began to use alcohol a lot more and began having blackouts. It really hit me at that point that I had been stuffing all of my childhood trauma and complex trauma through the years down so much that my body was literally shutting down and deciding, you're not going to go on any further if you don't deal with what's attacking you from the inside out. And then I thought about my son and him not having a mom around, because at the time I did have suicidal ideations, and that just was not an okay option for me. I really wanted to be there for him. So while I was in treatment at CBH, the most helpful thing, I believe, was the community that it brought to me. And I say that first because, again, I was isolated. I was so in my own mind, had all these soundtracks or playlists, if you will, from old habitual thinking or things that I've heard other people say about me, that when I got there to residence and we started becoming a group, I was so engaged in what I was learning, and that's the other piece of the puzzle CBH offered, was they taught me how to be able to think dialectically, so two things at once. Yes, I'm having a really horrible time, yet I can do something about it, and it really gave me that different mindset of I have a choice to change my life. Since completing treatment, it's been a year, November 5th, since I came into treatment. My whole journey started. I have this huge world out there in front of me. Before, my idea was so small of what life could be like. I was scared, I was intimidated, I felt like a victim over and over because all that stuff was just going on in my mind. And when I came to CBH and learning the skills that they taught, I was able to gain my confidence back. Remember that I am a person and I have the choice to choose. I'm not a child in the trauma that I grew up in. I'm not the person who just went through a situation in my past, but I'm a complex human being, and that involves emotions, that involves thoughts and attitudes. But again, I got my choice back when I came to Compassions, and really just took everything that I did at Compassions and brought it home with me back home to the Midwest and put that into practice there. And I think that's a huge piece of why I can smile today.